Okay, welcome, Miriam and Abdullah. So I guess we'll just proceed with the two of you, and if anyone else joins on the long run, we are fine. So welcome everyone again, and welcome, Mr. Nee. I hope everyone can hear me clearly.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so today's session is going to be more interactive. So when questions are asked, you just do it to unmute your mic and give a response back, right? And when you want to also table your issues so far and you want to share your screen, you can use your share your screen option so that any questions or any issues you've been having while taking your week one, your mentor can help you tackle all of those issues, right? So I guess we'll just get straight into it because of time, and others that join can probably still tender their questions. So far, or let me just let your mentor handle everything, right? So Sani, over to you.
Thanks so much, Mr. Stanley. I really appreciate. Yeah, I'm Nee, and I'm a software engineer at Commodore Systems. I think last week, sometime last week, we met and we just ran through setting up your environment for web development, and doing that on the call, I was able to like take you through how to install Visual Studio Code on your machine, and also what we call Chrome browser. Also, you get those are the two things. Those are the two major things we'll be working with. What we call on the like these are the two main tools we'll be working with. So today we'll be meeting something a bit different. Like it's something a bit what they call something a bit in depth in terms of web development. Although we might not be doing a lot of code today, we might not be writing a lot of code today, but yeah, we just actually like brush through. We just actually like start the basic. Then we now move from the basic. We now move to like writing small code. But I believe like next week, our the what they call the number of code we'll be writing will be bigger and bigger and bigger. So yeah, this session will be a bit interactive, and I will prefer that we all like have our machine with us, have our laptop with us, or probably if you're using desktop, fine. And even if you're using your phone, that's not bad. So I prefer we have our like our machine like close to us, so that okay, once we start the practical aspect of it, we can always jump on our machine and what we call and start writing code. And if you have any issue, you can either like I don't know if you can raise your hand here. No, you can just omit yourself and tell me, oh, Mr. Nee, can you please recap? Can you please come again? Yeah, I would do well to come again and recap. So yeah, that's just what's it called. I just thought about that. So today we'll be moving to okay. I think it is for the first part of the for the first part of this what's it called for this first part of this session we'll be like we'll be doing more of objectives, definitions and stuff like that. And for the subsequent one, we'll move to code. Welcome Abdullah. Welcome Ibrahim. Yeah, thanks for joining us today. So I might not go back to what I've said, but yeah, today we'll be treating HTML. Today we'll be treating HTML, and I think it will be okay if you have like a pen and your book with you, just to like jot one or two things down. Or if you want to write it on your notepad, that's fine. But yeah, we'll be talking about HTML today. And today we'll just kind of define what HTML is. So I'm just walking you through the course outline we'll be having today. So our course outline where we walk through what HTML is. Yeah, so we talked about when HTML was created. So we'll talk about process of adding modules to HTML. So the what we call the HTML versions we have had over the last few years, and yeah. Then after if we have done if when we're done with the what we call the theoretical part of just a part of it. They will now move to the code part of it. I will now start defining okay, what's it called, the parts of an HTML code. We'll explain each part. Then we'll now move to the final section, which should be like HTML element. Then I'll now give you an assignment. Then we'll call it a day. So I'll just kind of like rush through it as fast as I can because I don't want us to exceed 7, say quarter after 7, like at the maximum. Quarter after 7, we should be out of here. So yeah, if you can hear me, can you just unmute your mic and say, and so I will know I can confirm you can hear me.
Yes, yes, Sarah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, okay. Thanks so much, Brian. So now the question is, what is HTML? So HTML is hypertext markup language. When I was learning, when I started my career in tech, when I started writing HTML, I was very fascinated about writing HTML. A lot of a lot of element and stuff like that. Then I went to my first what's it called, tech meetup. That was DevFest Lagos, and when I saw we were interacting, I was like, what do you write? And I just said, okay, I write HTML. Everybody just laugh. Like I was not feeling bad. Like can't somebody write HTML? HTML should be there's language at the end of HTML. You get. So I now like went home and I went to like go and make research. So HTML is not like a proper language. Remember, like let me not use a proper language. HTML is not a programming language. Let me just use that word. So you can't use HTML to program a system or something. You can't use HTML to program. You get. HTML is just like a markup language. You get. So what we mean by a markup language basically is just okay. HTML is what we kind of use to like write something and display on the browser. Like that was the like in simple term what HTML is. You get. So it's not like a proper. It's not like a proper what was it called? It's not like a proper programming language. You get. It's just set of symbols and encodings and tests. That once you use those tests, you can actually like you can actually like run it and will have like a web page, or will have like what's it called, a writing, or what's it called, a content on your web page. So that's just something about what HTML is. So it's called hypertext markup language. That's what HTML stands for. So the H in HTML stands for hyper, the T stands for text, the M stands for markup, and the L stands for language. You get. So it's just a markup language. So it's called hypertext. What's it called? Hypertext markup language. So markup language or languages. You kind of have other markup languages. Let me give you an example. So we have XML. So we have XML now. So let me share my screen so I can just show you one or two things. Come in. Let me just increase this guy. And let me decrement this guy. Okay. So let me share my screen so I can show you something. So HTML is not the only markup language we have. So we have XML, we have XGML also. You get the whole markup language that you can use to what they call to design or design like a website kind of, you get. So let me just share my screen so I will just show you an example of both. Okay. Okay. So please can you confirm you can see my screen? Can you just tell me if you can see my screen? Just let me know.
Yes, yes, sir. I can see what's clear.
Oh, okay. So I told you, as I said, HTML is not the only markup language we have. We have other markup languages. So we have this is HTML. So if I run it, try it out. If I just run it, and I click on try it out, you can see this is my HTML code. This is my HTML code. This is like I told you, last week I told you about online text editor. So this is like this Web3 this is like an online text editor. This is Web3 text editor. Okay, it's an online text editor. I don't need to open my what's it called? Open my VS Code and run my thing in my VS because I can run it online. So this is an HTML code, and this is the output I got. So this is the output. This is the output. So HTML, of course, we all know is a markup language. We now have what we call XML. So XML also is a markup language. You get XML also is a what? Is a markup language. XML also is a markup language. It's called extensible markup language. So if I say I run, so you can run. This is the code for the XML. If I run it, I get this. Can you see? So I can also. This is like also like this is giving like an output on my browser also. So it is actually a markup language also. As a matter of fact, if when you are in I write C#.net. In C#.net we have what we call Maui. Maui is like a library or a framework we use for building desktop and building desktop and Mac OS application. But there's what we call XAML. XAML. So XML is like an extension of XML. So if you want to write any code, you write that code in XML. You get. So yeah, we have all other type of markup language aside HTML, but HTML is the most used markup language you use the most. So yeah, let's.
Okay. Just a bit, Stanley. Sorry, I don't know who is joining the viewer. Please use the link in your
Oh,
group.
shit.
I believe
What do you say?
you were. No, I'm trying to talk to the person who joined as a viewer. Don't join as a viewer. Go to your group and use the link that was given to you in your group, or check the comment section. A link I have dropped a link on the comment section, and join the class here at the backstage that can add you as a student, and you can also ask questions when it is time. Don't join as a viewer, please. Yeah, you can continue now.
Anyone hear me?
We can hear you now, but it's giving us an echo.
Really?
Okay, it's better now.
Okay.
Way better.
Oh, all right. I think my network just snapped a bit. So yeah, I was just trying to explain that. Okay, HTML, of course, HTML is used to create web page. You can use to create web page, but it's not just HTML alone. You can use XML. You can use another something called SGML. I've never used SGML before, but I've used XML. I also use XAML. XML, you get extensible application markup language, you get. And I said that HTML stands for hypertext markup language, while XML stands for extensible markup language. So I think at the end of the class, I will try to like ask a bit of question and see if we are following. So yeah, as I said, HTML is actually it stands for hypertext markup language, and it is used for creating pages. You get it's used for creating web pages. So HTML was first written by Tim Lee in 1993. So let's say it was let's say we can literally say HTML was created in 1993. You get so and the person that that created HTML is called Tim Lee. Tim Lee was the first person to create HTML, and over that years, HTML has evolved. You get HTML have evolved. So that time it was HTML1, then we moved to HTML2, they moved to HTML3, then currently we're in HTML5. We're currently in HTML5. HTML5 was like first proposed or first drafted in 2008, but it became like available in browsers 2004, 2014, you get. So, I know last week I said something about their what's it called, their process or stages, modules in say in a language or markup language we go through before they are available for us or they are available on the browser. You get. So first thing first, okay, say I okay, say okay, I want to like add a module to HTML. Okay, let's say the audio, there's nothing like audio. You cannot embed audio in HTML before now. Like create a module that will allow people embed audio in the what's it called in your HTML. So I can just create the module first. After creating the module, then I'll push it out to the browsers. You get then the browsers will you know, test it, what's it called? Kind of like embed it also in your own system. Then after the browser has tested it and it's fine, they embed it in their own system. Then they now give it out to developers also. The developer will be able to like use it and also test it and say, okay, yes, the what's it called? The module is fine. And if the module is fine, then they will not like push it to the general public to use. You get so yeah, there are like stages modules is added to a language. So now currently we're in HTML5, and HTML5 became available in 2014. You get so HTML5 like involves stuff like adding audio to your what's it called to your HTML, so you can embed audio tag kind of to your HTML. You can embed video tag to the HTML. You get. I don't know if you guys have noticed before. If you have not noticed, that you can just be going through say Twitter and you will see a YouTube link. You get, and you'll be able to watch the YouTube video even while you're on Twitter, while you're in any website. You get. So these are what HTML5 like bring to us. You get, these are the additional features HTML5 like give us. So yeah, so that's just the basic what's it called explanation of okay what HTML is and what's it called and when it was created and the latest HTML version and what is different, what is in HTML5 that's not in HTML3 or 2, you get, and that is the audio and the video like tag. So moving next, we'll be moving to like writing like code, but not like big code. But I'll share my screen now and just explain the part of HTML we have. So yeah, let me give me a minute. Let me share my screen. So we kind of used a folder last week. Okay. And can you all see my screen?
Yeah, we can, but probably you can just zoom in a little so that we can see it more clearly.
Command okay, can you see it now? See better now?
Yeah, yeah, it's
Oh,
better.
okay. Can anybody hear me? Miriam, um, Abdurrahman, can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, yes.
Okay. So yeah, this is a typical like HTML template. And I think I kind of like we ran through this last week, where I told you how to like create this template so that you just waste your time having to type all of these things from scratch. You get. So yeah, this is a typical HTML, and all of these things has their own function. So an HTML template will start with this doc type. So what doc type basically means is what we call document type, and the document type is set to what HTML. So we have to know we want to specify that, okay, yeah, this document type is what? It's HTML. Else it is very important we specify that, okay, the document type we are dealing with is HTML. Then after we have specified the HTML, the document type, they will now start our start writing our code by opening a tag called HTML. So this HTML is like the root. It was like the root of everything we want to start from. Like this is like the roots. So I want to specify that, okay, yes, this is HTML, and this language is what we call English. It's set to English. So there can be different languages, but yeah, it's set in English. So let me show you. Before I showed you XML, but let me show you XML. This is XML also. And so that XML also, you like, we start we do the it's we define, okay, yeah, this is an XML, what's it called, page, or this is an XML document. So in almost all the markup language, you have to specify that, okay, this is XML, or this is XAML, or this is HTML. So that's what they specify. So it's not just HTML alone. So yeah, it is specified, okay, this is an XML file or document. Why in HTML also specified, okay, this is an HTML document. Then of course we start the root with an HTML. Then we now have header. So if you see this HTML as this is HTML, and we close the HTML like this. Can you see a slash and the name HTML? You get, but due to the fact that what's it called, text editor are now improving. Once you just open a tag, the text editor will just close it for you by like automatically. So if I say that I open a p tag here, let's say I open a p tag, can you see this? The what's it called? It just automatically close the p tag for me. So you don't need to like start worrying about, okay. If I open it, then close it again. No, this the editor just help you do that so that you save time. So we have talked about document type, talk about HTML. This HTML being the root of being the root being the root of everything you want to type here. They will now move to header. So header is like where you add your meta information. So where we have more details. So if you want to add more details to your document, this is where you add it. If you want to add a what's it called, a CSS link, you add it in your header. You want to add a JavaScript link, you add it in your header. You want to add a title, you can see, I have a title here. You add it to your header. We have a viewport also here. So viewport is just basically like telling you, okay, um, how wide or how the width of how your application or how your website will look like in certain screen in a screen. We have different screen, probably on mobile, on laptop, on desktop, on tab. So this is what bit of, so you can define a lot of things in this header. And as time goes by, you will start seeing, okay, what you can define on this header. So most times what we've been interacting with is if you are using an external CSS, you'll be putting your external CSS here in this header. You get, but for now we're not doing anything like that. So yeah. So this title, by the time I run this application, I will show you where you can see this title. So you can, so for example, if you are building if you want this page to be an home page, just set this title as home. If it's an about page, you set this title as about. You get, and so on and so forth. Let me see if I can see, if you see. So what you are seeing here, this, I don't know if you can see my cursor. This XML tutorial you're seeing here is what we call the title. This is the title. So if, let me run this application, and I will show you that. Let me show you this application. Let me run this. Why do I keep calling it an application? Let me run this file, and you will see what I'm talking about. So I run this guy. Can you see? We have DMZ camp. So if I change this DMZ camp, say okay, let me change it to home. If I refresh, can you see? I have home. So this title is what display here. A funny thing is that you can even add a logo. Can you see that W3 School has their own logo there? So you can add a logo to it, and also it will also display. But as time goes by, we keep adding that. We keep adding that. So the header is basically where you like add like meta information, or what they call extra information, as the case may be. So we now have the body. So can you see that this header is inside this HTML tag, and this body also is inside this HTML tag. Can you see this? All of these things. Yeah, give me.
Okay, just give him a minute. He would be back.
I mistakenly close my application. Can anybody hear me? Can anyone hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Sorry about. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right. So okay, I have kind of explained what data is for. So data is just a place where you add extra information, like meta information. So example, your title, your, if you want to link to a CSS page, to a JavaScript page, and stuff like that. You get, so this is where you add everything. So we now have the body. So this body is what we call, this body is what anything you type inside this body will reflect in your page. So anything is you type inside this body will reflect on in your page. So for example, I have hello world DMC camp student, and if I just say, if I just type welcome to um let me say welcome, and I just save it. If I refresh this guy, I will say welcome, and I will say this. So anything you type here in this body, you will see it here. Can you see that this title in this header, you can't see it in this on this page? Why? Because it won't display. This header is just to add metadata. Why this body is where is anything you type in this body will surely display. So in this body is where you actually like construct your website, actually construct your website. So anything you see on the browser, all of these things you are seeing on the browser, it is inside the body. So it is inside this words, this body. So everything you are seeing here is inside this body. So yeah, that is just a brief what's the introduction to the parts of the HTML template. Let me just recap and we'll continue from there. So this doc type is used to actually specify the document type. And this document type specifying is what? HTML. This HTML here is the root of our document, basically. It's the root of our HTML page, basically. Then this header is where you add meta information like title, linking of your CSS and linking of your JavaScript. Why this body, anything you type in this body will display on the page. So it contains everything visible on the web page. Everything visible on the web page is what is contained in this body. So before I move forward, I would just want to ask if you have any question or if you have any issue with any of these things, then I'll just cap and just explain again. Any question from anybody?
Kindly unmute your mics and ask a question if you have a question.
Hello. I'm very, very, very sorry in the first place. I came late, but I can get what you're trying to say. But I think this, can I just get a new recap, please?
Can you speak louder, please?
I said I'm very sorry for coming late. I came late, so I meet you at the end. So please, can I just get a new just a recap, maybe a little bit appreciated, please.
Okay, no problem. Bro, I will just recap. At least I'll just start from the beginning and I will stop here. Then we'll now move to the final part of the video. All right. So in the beginning part, in the when it started, I kind of defined what HTML is. So I kind of said, okay, today we'll be talking about HTML, and yeah, we'll be talking about HTML, what HTML stands for, what is used for, the part of HTML, and in the ending part, we just kind of define, just write a simple code and just build a simple web page. So I said that HTML stands for the word HTML. The word HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. So let me just type it here. So let me just have it like an H2. The word HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. So this H here is what? Hypertext. This H here is hyper. This T here is text. This M here is markup, and this A here is language. You get. So now I said that HTML is not a programming language. You get. It is a markup language. And what is a markup language? A markup language is a language just used for creating web page. Let me just add it H3 here. I say, okay. HTML is not a programming language. It is a markup language. And what is markup language? So markup language is used for creating web pages. So now, what do we mean by creating web pages? So all of this, for example, this let me just say, okay. So this is web W3 schools. This page like this is a web page. This is a web page. I think I skipped this guy. Okay. This one also is a web page. If you see this page here is different from this page here, but both this page and this page are all written in markup language called HTML. You get? So HTML is a markup language, and markup language is used for creating web pages. So this page one, yeah, XML tutorial is one web page. This HTML basic is another what? It's another web page, you get. And this web page is created using what? HTML. So, and I said that HTML is not the only web page. It's not the only markup language we have. I said that HTML is not the only markup language we have. Let me say HTML also. It's not the only markup language we have. So we have other type of markup language. Example is XML. So we have other type of language. It's not only, so we have other type. So we have XML. So we have XML. So XML stands for what? Extensible markup language. If you ask me why they did not make it EML, I wouldn't know the answer you get, because this extensible is E, you get, and they decided to use X. So yeah, it is. I don't know. It is from whoever created it. That's okay. Let's use XML. But XML stands for what? Extensible markup language. So we can use XML also to create web page. Now, for example, I showed you this. So this guy here is this one here. It's an XML page. It's an XML code. Can you see? This guy here is an XML code, and this is, if I run this code, this is what I get. So this thing here is also what? It's also a web page. So I can also use XML to what? To create web pages. So I can say that, okay, no, I'm not using HTML. I want to use XML to create my code. And yes, I'll create web pages with XML. And I give an example. Okay, let me run the code. Let me run the code. And I told you that I use me as an example. I use C#.NET as a primary language, and C#.NET, what we call MAUI. So MAUI is used to create desktop application. So if you want to create desktop application, use what? MAUI. So the what we call the markup language we will use to create our own like pages in MAUI is what we call XAML. So let me put it here also. HTML. So XML is just basically extensible application markup language. So can you see that if you look at this XAML and XML, you see that they are similar. So this XML is kind of derived from XML. You get? So XML is the original. You get? Then XAML it is derived from it. You get? So what I'm just trying to tell you is that, or trying to prove is that HTML is not the only markup language you can use to build or to create web pages. So it's not only HTML you can use to create web pages. You can use XML also, which I prove here that okay, this web page is written in XML. You can use XAML, which is an extension of XML, and also you'll be able to create web pages. Okay, let me just run the application really quick, and so that I won't waste anybody. Let me just run the application really quick so you can see that it's not only HTML. Give me a few minutes. Let this guy run. I have to run it on. What's it called? Okay. This first malware project. I've not opened this project in a while. I'm trying to recap because of the guy that came late. But I'm just trying to like, can you see? Can you see? This is not HTML. Can you see? It's even defined here, XML. You get? But it is XAML extension, but it is XML because this XAML is derived from XML. So this guy here is used. Let me see if I can run the project. And if you need to throw me error, or if you ask me to run it on, ask me to run it on. So I just want to show you. This is like this. So this code here is for like it's like a desktop application. So I'm building this application for what's it called, for Mac. So I can use the same code also for Windows. I can use the same code also for iOS. Also the same code also for Android. You get. But what I'm just trying to prove to you that it is not only HTML you can use to build web pages. You can use XML also. In this case of Manway uses XML purely. You use XML purely. You get. So yeah, once it's one, I will show you. So this code here, this web page here is built using XML. So let's continue. So as I said, the markup language used in Manway is XAML, which is stand for what? Extensible Application Markup Language. You get. So HTML is not the only markup language we have. XML is also part. You get. So yeah, that's that about markup languages. So we also have what we call I said that okay, HTML was first written by Tim Lee in 1993. So it's actually a guy called Tim Lee that wrote HTML, like that first write HTML in 1993. You get. Then from there, HTML has evolved. I don't know if you remember during those days. I'm talking about 2006, 2005. You see that you see some web pages that they just be like only HTML, no CSS, only HTML. You get. So yeah, HTML has been existing for so long, but it will not start like they now start updating it, upgrading it, adding more modules to it to make it better. So currently we are now in what we call HTML5. Currently we are in what we call HTML5. Let me write it down here. So in the next 2 years, you can start. They might start to push in HTML6. In the next 3 years, HTML7 and that. You get. And HTML5 became available. HTML5. Let's say HTML5 was created. Yeah, it was created in 2008, but people started using it. Let me just say, it was created in 2008, but became available in 2014. So now, can you see that? Yes, HTML5 was actually proposed in 2008, but not until 2014. Before people now started like it's not available for general developers to use. You get. So between this 2008 to 2014, like it went through different process. You get. So in 2008 to 2014, first thing after it has been created and the module has been pushed, the browsers will test what's it called, the modules, and say that okay, this module is okay, and yes, this module is okay and can be available. You get. So within this period to this period, those browsers, say Chrome, say Edge, say Internet Explorer, say Mozilla Firefox, Firefox, they will be like testing the module. After they have tested the module and it's okay, we'll now start embedding the module to their own system, to their own browser, so that once you just type p tag, the browser knows that okay, this is a p tag. Once you tag audio tag, the browser knows that okay, this is an audio tag. You get, but if what's it called? If it is not available or the browser has not tested for the module, if you type a audio, it won't display on the browser. So between this period to this period, the browser were trying to test the modules, embed the modules to their own browser, so that if you type something like ptag, it will show on their own browser. You get. So then 2014, it become like available for general public. People now started using it. You get. We'll still move to like HTML5, moving forward. But at least you need to understand the whole HTML from 1 to 4 before we now move to 5. You get. So yeah. So the latest HTML is HTML5 and was created in 2018, but became available in 2014. So yeah, and that is all of this just explain what HTML is basically, and yeah, and the date it was created and what it is used for generally. So yeah, I don't know if this guy is still there.
I'm here.
Yeah. Did you get it?
I get your point straight, sir.
All right, thanks. So we'll now move. So when you joined, we were talking about the what's it called? I was trying to explain everything on the on the HTML template. So this is like a template kind of, you get, that if you want to type writing, if you want to start building your web pages, you have to follow this pattern to build your web pages, to build your web page. So if for example, if I open this guy, let me just say, okay, I open this guy, and let me say I inspect. I'm trying to look at the element. Yeah. Can you see? The first thing you see is doc type, which is also here. So all HTML web page must have this doc type. You get. Must have this doc type which is set to HTML. You get. Then to now have like a root. HTML page, which is called HTML. You get. So in this, we have which is called HTML. Then to now have header. Can you see? The same thing we have here. We have the doc type, which specifies the document type, which is specified to HTML. We have the HTML root page. Then it have the header. Can you see? We have the header. They will now have the body. So this body is, if I click on this body, can you see? If I click on this body, is that it's zooming. Can you see that there's this blue thing on the screen, which shows that okay, everything in this we are seeing in this screen is inside the body. You get it? Inside the body. But if I say over on this H tag, you see nothing is showing. No blue background is showing on the screen. When I open over on the body, can you see that?
Sorry,
okay, yes.
If someone picture displaying on the screen, maybe a video call, someone is on his video camera and is distracting the screen.
I don't understand. What do you say?
Someone, I think someone on his camera down, and I think he's distracting the screen, kind of blinking, sharp.
Yeah, he has switched his screen off. That was he has switched his screen off. You can continue.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry about that. So yeah, I'm just trying to say that okay, all of these things you are seeing is inside the body. So inside the body. So what this is trying to say is that okay, do I have any comment? Okay, I don't. What is trying to say is that okay, the body is the element that contains all the visible content in your web page. So all the visible that you are seeing here is contained in the body. Why the header is just a place where you put metadata or meta information, or what's it called? Or I put it, or what's it called? More information about your web page. Now, if I open the web, if I open this header, you see we have what we call script. We have script. We have title. I see this title we have here matches with this thing that is up here. Let me just take it away from this guy. So this title we have here matches with this guy we have here. And also our own here, see this side title we have in our own here. This home title matches with our own here also. You get, so the title must be on the header. You get, because it's actually like telling us, okay, more information about the web page, right? So anything that kind of like give us more information about the web page is put in this header, in this head tag. So you can put your HTML link, you can put your CSS link, you can put your JavaScript link here, and yeah, it will, like for example, here. For example, you can see what we call script. You can see script. You can see script. You can see meta, keyword, content. You can see link. You can see all of this link. This link, this one is icon. Preload. I'm talking this link. Can you see style sheet? This is like CSS. Script. This is JavaScript. So all of these scripts and stuff like that can be in the header. Yeah. And the what's it called? And the link to your CSS also will be in the header. Then the body is just basically every content that is to be displayed on your web page will be in the body. Now, for example, for our own, I put in hello world, I put in this other content, and I put in welcome. If I save this guy and I refresh, if I refresh, can you see? I have everything that I've written here. I have it here. So yeah, that is basically what the body is. So this is just a simple part of, or simple aspect of the of the HTML template. And I said something about it is important to define the doc type and also like the markup language you are using as the root page. Now, for example, now if I go to this guy, I know I think that XML is an example, it's a type of a type of markup language. I see that XML also, it starts its own root with XML also. As we start our own root with HTML also. Even before now, you have to even specify the version of HTML you're using. Like if I'm talking about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, you will like the way the version of the XML is specified here. You also have to like specify the version of the HTML you are using. But now you don't need to do that again because everything has been handled for you. You get. So yeah, that's just basically the part of the HTML template. Then the next thing will be talking about element in HTML. Element in HTML. So as I said, every content that you want to see, every content that you want to see on your web page will be written in your body. So every content you want to see on your web page will be written in your body. So there's a way, or you can't just type in hello world and just save and refresh. It shows, but it does not have like a specific thing. So the system will know, okay, is this a P tag, or is this an H tag, or is this something you get to just display? Of course, like a normal text editor, to just display like a normal text editor. But it's not, you did not define, okay, what tag or what element this word or this sentence is, you get. So elements are like, okay, what you kind of define that, okay, this thing I want to do, I want to like make it an H1 tag, or I want to like make it a paragraph. I want to make it like I want to create a link. So this is what called. This is what element help you undo. Now, for example, we have what we call the H tag. Good. And this H tag is from H1 to H6. So we have H1, you can see we have H2, we have H3. I can say, okay, this one is H4. I say this one is H5. I say this one is H6. Good. And all of these things we have different font size. If I save and I refresh, can you see this is H1, which is the tag is bigger and stronger than this H2. This H2, the tag is bigger and stronger than this H3. Can you see? H3 than this, then this is H6, which is the final one, which is H6, which is the final one. Then this one here is P tag. So we have different places we use H1, H2, P tag and stuff like that. By the time Emmanuel will start explaining, okay. Start explaining, okay, when we need to use H1 tag, when we need to use H2 tag, when you need to use P tag and stuff like that. But I'll just take it to, okay, the elements we have, and Emmanuel will just take it from there. So yeah, this is just, and this is like one element, which is H1 tag. We have P tag also as an element. We also have an hyperlink. An hyperlink text. An hyperlink. I just say, okay, can you say click to go to Facebook? I refresh. Nothing is happening. Why? Because I've not added an attribute called href to it. So if I add, okay, href, and I say Facebook. Can you see? Become clickable. If I click on it, it takes me to what I've asked it to. It's trying to look for facebook.com without this thing. And just say www.facebook.com. I don't know if this is the official page of Facebook. Let me see. Something wrong. There's something wrong. I think I need to put in extra check or something for you to go to Facebook. So yeah, there's a way you do it. You can even add you can even ask it to open on a new browser. All of these things we discussed, in our next class. We also have image tag. Also have image tag. That's IHMB. And you just define the source. Don't have any image here. I don't have any image here also. I have any image here. I think I have an image on my download. I have a pop-up. And I think I have image here. Yeah. Let me see if this will display. Yeah, the image displayed. So I can even you can set the width and say, okay, yeah, the width is what 50, and the height is 50. I save it and I refresh also. Thank you. Precise. So we can do all of these things. So yeah, this what's it called? This session is just to basically just explain what HTML is, explain the part of HTML, just give you few tags in HTML. And from next week we'll move to the bigger aspect of it, talking about list and stuff like that. Yeah, so yeah, I think that's all we need to discuss for today. From next week onward, we'll write proper code, and from next week onward, I will what's it called? I will ask us to share our screen. It will be more interactive. It will be more interactive. Everybody will share their screens. I will just be following along, and we'll just be adding things and subtracting things. As a matter of fact, next week we'll build our first. It might not be it might not be pretty, but at least we will build our first proper web application kind of, or website kind of. Yeah, we build our first website, but of course no CSS yet. But yes, we build our first website next week. But for now, just need to understand what HTML is, what it stands for, what it is used for, all that markup language we have, when HTML was created, and yeah, and when it became available to the general public. And of course, small, the part of HTML, the expansion of the part of HTML, and small element, HTML element we have. So yeah, that is that about that for today's class. And if you have any question, just let me know, and I'm here to answer your question. Oh, I think Miriam is the only one on the call currently. Any question, Miriam? Any question?
No, sir. In my reference, I don't have a question, sir.
Ibrahim or Miriam, who just replied?
Yeah, it's me,
Who? Miriam or Ibrahim?
Ibrahim.
Ibrahim. Okay, no questions. Okay. Yeah, I would say I would take no question as you you understand to some extent what I explained. So yeah, Miriam, any question? What do you say? Miriam, I can't hear you. Miriam, I can't hear you. Any question? Omo Kehinde? Nee. Any question?
My question is, have you moved to the HTML templates?
Have I what?
I said, have you moved to the HTML templates? You are talking about moving to the HTML template or like
Yeah, we're done with that already. I think we're done with that already. I kind of explained the part of the HTML template and you just kind of write a bit of code using element, using HTML element, H1 to H6, P tag, and of course image at the end. So yeah, we're done with that. But of course, we'll go into like more details of this element next week. You guys, another part next week will be more of element, H tag, P tag, A tag, image tag, href, list. We might do table also, but yeah, we're talking about a lot of elements next week. But for now, just to define and just give you like a bit of explanation about HTML and getting you like familiar with what HTML is. So yeah, that is it. That's what we have done. So yeah, if we don't have anybody have any question,
Sorry, sir, to interrupt you. I want to grab something outside, so can I go? I understand the lesson. I don't have a question.
all right, no problem.
Thank you. Have a good night.
All right. Neil, any question? Okay, Miriam said you don't have any question. I'm just saying this. All right, so let me ask my own question. Yeah, just like 2 to 3 questions. What does HTML stands for? Anybody? Can anybody else tell me what HTML stands for?
Hypertext markup language.
Aye. Miriam, what does it stand for? Miriam, I'm waiting for your response. You can type it if you can't speak. Just type. I will Neil. What does HTML stands for? Oh, hypertext markup language. Nice. Second question will be: is HTML a programming language? Yes or no? Is HTML a programming language? No. Okay, Miriam said no. Omokainde, how about you? Omokainde. Okay, Miriam said no. Why? Why is HTML not a, what was it called? Why is HTML not
You know.
why is HTML not a programming language? You said no. So give me a reason why HTML is not a programming language. Or why it is a markup language. Yeah. Someone can say no, it is a markup language. So why is it a markup language? Why do we call it a markup language? Anyone? I'm waiting for you guys to answer. Why is it called a markup language? So why is it not a programming language? So why is it a markup language? So if you don't know, just you can just tell me you don't know. I will just recap. Or basic what is a markup language? You don't know. Fine. Okay, what is a markup language? If you know what is markup language is, then you'll be able to answer the question. So okay, basically a markup language is used for what? For creating web pages. You get. So HTML is just basically used to create web page. You get, not build a software or a system. You get. So a programming language is used to build software, it's used to build system application. You get. But HTML is just used for what? For creating web pages. Web pages. Nothing more, nothing else. You get. So that's why you say it's a web markup language and not a programming language. So now I said that HTML is not the only markup language you have. Can you name one markup language aside HTML? Just one. One markup language aside HTML. Anybody? XML, fine. So what does XML stands for? What does XML stands for? Yeah, XAML is fine, but XAML is actually like an extension of XML. You get. So by default, you say XML. So XAML is like an extension of XML. So what does XML stand for, and what does XAML stand for? Anyone? What does XML stands for? And what does X? Okay, yeah, Okay, it's not extension. It's extensible markup language. It is called extensible markup language. It is called extensible markup language. But yeah, you are close. We are close. What about XML? What about XML? Yeah, extensible markup language. Nice. What about XAML? Miriam, what does XAML stands for? No idea. So XAML stands for Extensible Application Markup Language. Extensible. The X there is extensible. The A there is application. The M there is markup. By the L there is what? Why there is what language? Yeah, extensible application markup language. Yeah, that's very correct. So yeah, so yeah, I think that is okay. If I want to add a title, if I want to add a title to my web page, what will I put it? Will I put it in my body tag or in my head tag? If I want to set my title of my web page, where will I set it? Head, yeah, confirmed to be in the head tag alongside, say, your head tag, yeah, alongside your CSS link and stuff like that. So the H tag starts from one to what? So we have H1 to what? H what? The head, we have the header, the heading tag is from what? The heading tag is from H1 to H6. So the H there stands for heading. The heading tag stands for what? From H1 to H6. So yeah, that is basically all we have for today. So next week, by God's grace, we'll go deeper and we'll talk about a lot about element. And I want everyone to like come with their system or be on their system that day. You get, because I'll be asking us to share our screen. Like everybody I'll ask us to share our screen. Then we'll just interact. And I think we just have to give a particular time for the next class, like beforehand, so that we all have be prepared, for the class you get, so that you'll be seated. If you want to sit on your gen, you sit on your gen and be on your system. They will not start. So yeah, I pray that God protect us to for our next class. I think you guys will have another class. I think on Sunday. I'm not sure. I think on Sunday. I'm not sure with Emmanuel. So Emmanuel will be taking you on Sunday. Then I will be taking you next week Thursday. Then yeah, I think I have like 2 or 3 more classes with you guys. Then Emmanuel will just take over fully, because Emmanuel is more of a front end guy. I'm a working guy. All right, thanks so much, everybody. Miriam, Kehinde, Nee, thanks so much. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Mr. Stanley, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Nee. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the 3 guys that stayed to the end, right? So you guys heard that. Your next class, you guys have to come with your systems, and you guys will have to share your screen while you work. So your sessions with Mr. Emmanuel would be over this weekend into early next week, right? So if you taking you guys holding your hands alongside Mr. Nee while you guys grow in web development. So yeah, so that's it basically. So to your next session, I guess this is a goodbye for everyone for today.